You know, with the explosion of generative AI tools like ChatGPT, it feels like everybody's suddenly talking about language data on a massive scale. And this tech has totally changed how we think about, well, pretty much everything. But what does it mean for the actual experts who've been studying this stuff for decades? Okay, let's get into it.
So for years, there's been this super specialized field called corpus linguistics, and they've been quietly analyzing these huge collections of text and speech, they call them corpora, to figure out how language actually works in the real world. It was pretty niche stuff, for academics. But now, with Gen AI, their entire field of study is suddenly front-page news. So the big question is, has this shiny new tech just made all the old methods obsolete?
To really get what's going on here, we first need to talk about the established approach. It's called data-driven learning, or DDL for short. For more than 20 years, this method has basically encouraged language learners to be their own detectives, to dive into these corpora and see for themselves how words and phrases are really used by native speakers. It's all about discovering the patterns of real language for yourself.
And that leads us right to the heart of the matter. When you have a tool like ChatGPT that can instantly spit out examples, explanations, even entire conversations on demand, is there really still a place for that careful, hands-on DDL approach? I mean, are we looking at the end of an era here?
Well, let's start by making the case for the traditional way of doing things. Because as it turns out, there are some really powerful reasons why corpora aren't just relevant, but maybe more important than ever in the age of AI. And it really all boils down to one thing: authenticity.
Okay, so this breaks down why corpora are still so powerful. It's all about trust and control, right? You know exactly where the data came from, it's authentic language, produced by real human beings, you can replicate your findings, which gives you hard evidence, plus it's a totally safe option, no worries about user data privacy. And maybe most importantly, it doesn't hallucinate or just make stuff up. It forces you, the learner, to be active and intentional.
And this slide just nails the fundamental difference. On one side, you've got corpora. Think of it as a photograph, a record of real language, exactly as it was used by a person. On the other side, you've got Gen AI, which is creating a statistically probable sentence. It might sound perfect, sure, but it isn't necessarily how people actually talk. It's more like a computer-generated image of language.
So here's the bottom line on this part of the argument. If you're a language learner and you want to know what sounds natural, what's appropriate in the real world, corpora are still an incredibly reliable source of truth. It's like having a direct window into the language. No filter.
But hold on, that's only half the story. For all their power, corporas have always been kind of, well, difficult to use. So now, let's flip the script and look at how generative AI is solving the very problems that have held this whole approach back for years.
Yeah, for decades, the reaction to DDL from teachers and students has pretty much been, this sounds amazing, but, and those buts are huge. The tools often required you to learn complicated search commands. The interfaces were clunky. The real-world data could be way too advanced for beginners. And it was almost impossible to track how a student was doing over time.
Okay, now watch this. Gen AI comes along and just boom, demolishes every single one of those problems. You don't need code, you just ask it a question in plain English. The chat interface is something we all understand. It can instantly adjust content for any skill level. You just tell it, hey, explain this to a 5th grader. And the scale is just mind-boggling. Plus, it can instantly whip up quizzes and lesson plans.
And this right here is the absolute game changer. A teacher can literally go from asking for a few example sentences, to telling it to make a quiz out of them, to commanding it to build an entire lesson plan around that quiz, all in seconds. That's a level of speed and flexibility that the old corpus tools just can't even touch.
So, we've got two incredibly powerful tools. One is grounded in authenticity and reliability, the other in insane accessibility and speed. It feels like a classic showdown, right? Old school versus new tech? But here's the twist. The argument isn't that this is a competition. The real future is a partnership.
This table just lays it all out so clearly. You see, corpora win, hands down, when you need to know the source is real, the language is authentic, and you can replicate your findings. It's your hard evidence. But generative AI, it completely dominates on ease of use and versatility. It's the ultimate tool for access and for creating new things. You can see how their strengths don't cancel each other out. They actually complete each other.
And that, right there, is the big idea. The future of learning languages isn't an either-or choice. The real breakthrough, the real power, is going to come from combining the reliable, authentic truth of corpora with the simple, creative power of Gen AI. Just imagine using AI to make all that complex, real-world data from a corpus easy for anyone to understand and play with.
The article we're looking at sums it up perfectly. It calls this combination a useful methodological synergy. It's not about replacing one with the other. It's about creating something totally new and way more powerful by leveraging the best of both worlds. You're marrying the rigor of research with the accessibility of today's tech.
So the bottom line isn't that AI is replacing the experts. It's that AI is giving them, and all of us, really, superpowers. This isn't the end of DDL as we know it. It's the beginning of something much, much bigger. And that leaves us with the real question to think about. How is this powerful new partnership going to change the way we all learn languages from now on?